Hello, for this lesson we are going to look at multiplying and factoring polynomials, but specifically a word problem. Okay, so in this word problem it says we're working on building a model. It says, suppose you are building a model of a square castle. The moat of the model is made of blue paper and is modeled below. Okay, so we have the example of it, right? The castle is the square white shape, and then the moat is the circle and everything that's blue. Okay, if we look here, we can pick up some information, right? We can look at the radius of our circle is 4x, and the side length of our square is going to be 2x. Okay, and those are going to be really important for this part A. So A says find the area of the moat using the diagram. Okay, so we need to find the area. Okay, but the area we're looking for is just the moat. So what we need to find first, well, the moat is a circle, right? The area. A circle. We're going to do, alright, so area, and it's going to equal the circle, but then it does not include the square. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the square. Okay, so normally you probably wouldn't write this out, but this is my plan. Okay, so to find the area of this, right, the area of this circle, or the moat, sorry, to find the area of the moat, I need to find the area of the circle, but it cannot include the square. So how I do that is I find the whole circle, the area of the whole circle, and then I take away, right, that area that is not included. So what we need to know is, well, what's the area of a circle? So you need to look back, think, what is the area formula for a circle? Okay, and well, that's pi r squared. Okay, it's pi r squared. And for this example, I'm going to leave pi as just a symbol rather than multiplying it out. Okay, but I also need to know what is the area of a square. Well, the area of a square and that one's going to be s squared, because it's simply the side times its side, which, well, anything times itself is squared. Okay, so s squared. And then we need to say, well, my goal is I need to find the area of the circle and subtract the area of the square. So how we're going to do that? Well, the area of my moat is going to be the area equals the circle area formula, pi r squared, but then I'm subtracting the square. So I'm going to subtract the formula for the square area. Okay? And then I need to identify, okay, can I replace the r? Can I replace the s? And the answer is yes. Okay? So the radius is right here. Right? The radius is over here, and then this is the side of our square, right? The side length of our square. So I just plug in those values where I see their representative variable. So r is radius, so area equals pi. R is 4x to the second power minus, it's going to be 2x, close parentheses, 2. Now make sure you're using parentheses properly, because if I don't use parentheses in either of these problems, it changes the answer. Okay? But remember, since in our formulas, it's r squared, so whatever r is, it needs to be squared. So it needs to be 4x. The whole monomial needs to be squared. It can't just be x squared or 4 squared. It has to be both. So make sure you're using parentheses properly. Now we can use order of operations and our knowledge of monomials and powers, and we can simplify this. Alright, so I've got area is going to equal, well, let's see, I need to simplify this, 4x to the second power. Well, I need to take this power, and that power goes to the x, so that's going to become x squared, and that power also goes to my 4, so it's going to be 4 squared Okay, well 4 squared is 16. Okay, and then I'm going to have pi. I'm going to just put my pi there, and that's just using the commutative property. I like to have my coefficients out front, okay, but it can go in really any order. Okay, then we have minus, and then we have 2x to the second power. Okay, well that square goes to the x, so it's going to be x to the second power. That square also goes to the 2, so 2 squared is 4. And so my answer, okay, my answer is going to be area equals 16x squared times pi, okay, because that will be the area of my circle, minus 4x squared, because that will be the area of my square. And I could say, well, can I simplify these? Can I simplify this? And we are not going to simplify. Okay, we're going to leave this how it is because we're dealing with that pi, and since that pi is in there and we didn't simplify it, we're not going to combine them at this point. Okay. For B, it says write your answer in factored form. So factoring, we're going to take our answer. So in order to get both parts right, you need to get the first part right. If you don't have the first part right, you're not going to be able to get it correct. And factoring, okay, factoring is taking out common factors that are present in both of our monomials, okay? So what we need to do is one strategy, and hopefully at a certain point you're going to get to where you can just look at it and say, I see the factors easily, but if we need to go back over how to factor things, let's break this apart into its factors. So the first thing is to say, okay, let's find the factors of 16, and you can just use your factor tree, any method you want to use, break it down into its prime factorization. Okay, so this one, so 16x squared pi would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, we'd break apart any variables we have and say, okay, well, let's go x times x, because that's x squared, and then it's multiplied by pi. Okay, so this one, that's our top value, and let's find our first value. Let's take our second value. So 4, let's find, and hopefully that's pretty easy. And 2. Okay, and I have my 2 x's. So again, we are factoring it. So we're taking out the common factors. Hopefully you can look at these two problems, and let me scoot this up. I realized it's no longer on our sheet. There we go. Okay, so here is for our first monomial of our binomial, and this is the prime factorization. This is the factorization of our second monomial in our binomial. Okay, so looking at these values, we're looking for common factors, so things they have in common. Well, guess what? I see this is a common. This is common. This is common. This x is common, and this x is common. So I can take those out. All right. So what I would do is anything that I matched here, anything I matched, I'd write it down here. Well, this is going to be 2 times 2. Okay. And then it's going to be times x times x. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. So the first part of my answer is 4x squared. Okay, that's going to be on the outside of a parenthesis. Okay, so this is what I factored out. Okay, this is what I factored out. And that goes right here. Next, we need to determine what is left. Okay, well, this is what's left here is I canceled out this. I took this out. It's 2 times 2 times pi. Well, 2 times 2 is 4 times by pi. That pi symbol just remains. And then down here, I took everything out. Okay, since I took everything out, we're going to leave a 1. Okay, we're going to leave a 1. We need to look at our original problem. What symbol's here? Negative. Right? It's a subtraction problem there. And this will be our answer. 4x squared, open parentheses, 4 pi, minus 1. And the way we can test this, is we can go ahead and unfactor it, right? We can multiply and see if we are correct. So what we would do here is, right, this is the answer. Remember, this is the answer. Okay, but we're proving it here. Okay, so, well, 4 times 4 is 16. X, we multiply by x squared. There are no x's to change that variable. Then we have pi still, right? Then we take it across here. Well, what's any number times by 1? It's that number, so it's going to be 4x squared, and it's negative. So we see, here is our original answer. Here is our proof. And that's your word problem from your lesson. I hope that this helps. Good luck with your lessons this week.